Greetings, collectors of all cards Marvel. I'm Warren Martineck, and this is the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Taylor and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective, an awesome community of card collectors and creators. You can find our two groups on Facebook, details of which are at the end of this podcast, so come check us out. With me as always is my co-pilot in all things Marvel cards. You say GIF and I say GIF. Let's call the whole thing off. Except we can't, as we've got a podcast to do with Nine Rad.
Hello. That was good.
You inspired me. GIF or
Thank
GIF?
you. I get that effect on people. Wait, what'd you say?
GIF or GIF?
You know what? I don't know, because now I'm confused on which one I defended before.
It is
if
GIF.
That makes sense.
It
is
helps.
GIF.
Right. No, it is GIF.
What?
Good.
It's GIF.
No, GIF is a cleaning product.
No, see, you mentioned it in my head. I was like, wait a minute. That's why I corrected him, because he was so incredibly wrong.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sounds like the old English argument of whether you've got scones and whether you put cream or jam on first.
Well, you put jam.
You are correct.
Damn it. I had a 50-50
No, you're not.
chance of messing with you.
No, you're
Yes.
not. No, you're not
Jam.
correct. No, you put the cream on first because it's clotted cream, so it's quite
Don't
stiff,
believe you.
which is the Devon way of doing it. But the Cornish way of doing it is to put the jam on first.
See, to me, this is all gibberish, and it's jam first.
You haven't got a clue. Mark, do you have any clue what we're talking about?
I know a little bit about jam, but that's really it.
Okay.
Unless you're defending me, Mark, you should stay out of it. Okay, my friend.
I'm staying out.
We kind of haven't even introduced him yet, have we?
He's already here.
He's already here. Mark, well, everyone knows your name, Mark. Who are you, sir?
My name is Marquez. I've been in the group for, I feel like almost since the beginning. This group and the other MMC group. Just a pretty good collector, mostly Marvel stuff.
You, I think you are day one.
I might have been either day one or like the first week, but yeah.
You are OG. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, original.
Yeah, one of the founding fathers.
Original gangsters.
Is it? Yeah.
I love it.
And whereabouts are you? You're East Coast, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I know. I've never been to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's below New York, isn't it? Is it between Washington and New York? Am I thinking about the right? My geography's terrible.
A little bit depends on. I think it's. I have to look at the map, but I think it's a little bit west of New York and south, west and south.
Fair enough. I'm just terrible. Unless I've got a map in front of me, I haven't got a clue. But
I live here and I have no idea, honestly. So.
From what I've seen in the news recently, a lot of people who live there haven't got a clue. But we won't go into that.
It's very true. Yes. This is true.
Yeah, just when you thought 2020 couldn't get any crazier.
It's going to get crazy. You know what? I will say that about Americans. We won't let you down on the crazy.
I was going to say, everyone in the world, 2020 is so crazy. America, hold my beer.
Yeah. We'll outdo you, yeah.
Well, and I'm originally from Florida, so I'm like different crazy on top of America crazy.
I'm hearing there's a whole level of crazy once you go into the flow.
I'm actually from Florida also. So
are you serious?
Yeah, I'm from Tampa originally.
Miami, Florida, baby.
There you go. Two of my favorite cities in Florida.
There are so many people who come from Florida or have lived in Florida.
You can't get rid of us. Yeah. You think we'd be trapped there since it's a peninsula, but yeah, we make our way over. Just branching out.
Yeah. What are the odds? What are the odds that they'll sever it from the rest of the US and just let it drift off into the Caribbean Sea one day?
They don't need the state to drift off. It's already gone. Mentally, they are somewhere very far in the Caribbean.
To anyone listening to us from Florida who is a proud Floridian, we apologise. Other states are available in the interest of fairness.
I love Florida. I'm totally proud to be from Florida, but you have to recognize your own. It's just natural. It's just a way of life.
Fair enough. What state? And this is we're going so off topic.
We already did it.
We've gone so off topic. Which state do you identify yourself with in terms of your? Because I'm an Englishman, so I can say which state I kind of identify most with. But because you live in different states to where you grew up, where do you identify with as your kind of?
For me, I say I'm Floridian because I spent most of my life there, and then I've been in Pennsylvania now for about 6 years.
Oh, okay.
So, just for work, and I've lived in other states too, like Georgia, Indiana. So, but for me, Florida is really where I identify myself.
It's weird because like growing up in Florida, I never felt very Miami because I don't know. I don't have a lot of machismo. I don't have like a lot of the stereotypical things, which is not everybody in Miami, but. Sure. I always felt very kind of like on the outskirts because I various things. I just didn't feel very much a part. And then when I moved and started living somewhere else, especially North Carolina, which is not the South, but I'm in a very like nice part of town. But if I went out like an hour or two, I'd have to watch out for tall trees. But mostly. It's weird. It's weird. Miami. I didn't move from Miami until I was 24, born and raised. So, it's very strange to have a hometown, which is Miami, Florida, such a touristy area. But yeah, I would say definitely identify as a Floridian.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Where do I mean, I've not been to all of America, clearly, but I wouldn't say New York City because it's not a state, and New York City is so different to everywhere else, even though it's the place I've been most. Probably Massachusetts, I'd say.
Oh, that's pretty.
Or New Jersey.
That's where you
probably leaning more towards New Jersey.
That's where you go do your holidays sometimes, right? Is that what you were telling me before?
Yeah, but just New Jersey. Possibly because I know so many nice people from New Jersey, and listen to a lot of New Jersey-based podcasts. So I'm kind of almost indoctrinated to their way of thinking.
Cool. Very cool.
But yeah. Anyway, who knows? Anyway, Mark.
Yes.
It's early for you. Early Sunday morning. So
yes, sir.
I know what you collect, and some of the people who are listening might know what you collect, but there's an awful lot of people who won't know what you collect. So tell us what you collect and how you got into it.
Sure. Well, I guess as a kid, 92 Marvel Masterpieces was the one that kind of for me was like groundbreaking. At 92, I was like a 10, 11-year-old kid, and then to see art like Jusko did for the first time ever. Like I never knew, superheroes could be drawn like that, and painted like that. So I got 92, 93 Marvel Masterpieces. I kind of fell off a little bit after that, different interests as a kid. And then I guess probably in the mid 2000s, like I was like, I want to relive some of my old, childhood memories and stuff. And then I decided to kind of look back at the ones that I missed, 90, 94, 95 Masterpieces, 96. And then at the same time, too, I realized, oh, my gosh, there's a new set, the 2007, 2008 set. And then they came out with, like, individual sketch cards in there. Like, my mind was blown where I was like, oh, my gosh, this is actually, like, original. You turn over the back of the card, and it says, congratulations, you've won, like, an original, or you've received an original piece of Marvel artwork.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wow, that's so crazy. That's so neat. So then around that time too, like around 2012-ish, I went back to grad school. So I kind of like, stopped collecting at that point and just trying to focus on school and stuff. And then in 2016, I was like, you know what, just for the heck of it, I'm just going to look at eBay and see like, if there's any like Marvel Masterpiece sketches from 2007, 2008. And I got so lucky because when I did that search, it literally was, and I had no idea the 2016 set came out. I did the search and it was like July of 2016, so the set had just come out. Oh my gosh, this is like perfect timing, like to get into 2016, and then I knew that Jusko had done it, and then I compared 2016 to 92, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like he must have had a lot more time to do 2016 because it was just like, I mean, both sets are awesome. I love both sets, but I kind of felt like 2016 was a little bit more probably what he wanted versus being rushed in 1992. So that's kind of how I got back into it. And then, Masterpieces now 2016, 2018, now 2020, which is coming out in like 4 days.
As we record, yeah.
Yeah. So, but mostly just masterpieces stuff is what I collect, and then like sketches too. And I'm kind of one of those weird guys who like they collect. I mostly collect sketches. Like if I collect a base set, so there's a lot of stuff that I love. That's great, but I end up like passing just because I never collected the base, or So That's kind of weird, but that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I think that makes sense too. I mean, being a character collector a little different, but. I mean, you really wouldn't be running for sketches that were outside of a set that you don't have any kind of familiarity with. I mean, I see people do it, but I 100% understand that idea. But it's funny. I had the same thing when I saw that original art original art from Marvel artists was in sets. That blew me away. Like, that was it for me. Like, those congratulations, those one per box, the sketchographs, the Spider-Man, the Silver Age. It just blew me away. And like, honestly, Marvel Masterpieces 0708 has some of the best sketches to ever come out, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're just so genuine and interesting and artistic and different. I can't believe you got so lucky, Mark, that you got into 16 that early. I'm so jealous.
Yeah. Because, and I know like a lot of like in the last couple of years, like right before 18 came out, I think there was a bunch of people that got back into 16, and it was like already a year and a half had been passed, and so it would have been harder for them. But then I just got lucky. I just did a random eBay search of like, I need to take up a hobby. and there it was. And now that's all she wrote.
I still need to finish my 2016 tier 1 to 3 actually, let alone anything else. It's one of those ones I keep chipping away at. So just before we came on, we were talking about the 92 set, because we were reflecting on the fact that last week, as we record, so 1st September, was Mr. Joe Jusko's, good evening, sir, 62nd birthday, I believe. And we were talking, you did some very quick maths, and you said, he must have done that when he was 34. Mm-hmm. And it's like, he did that set in 3 months. So I think you'd have to be pretty young to be able to cope with that kind of schedule. But what the reason that brings to mind is because the other day, you might have seen me post it on the group, I was flicking through a copy of Wizard magazine from January 93, issue 17. And I've actually just sent this to you both in the chat as a picture. So if you pull that up, you can see it. I found a full-page ad from whatever company it was that no longer exists that acquired and sold all of the original artwork from Joe Jusko for 1992. And it's absolutely incredible. I've never seen this advert before, and it kind of blew me away because I don't really look for any of this original artwork because it's way out of my price range, and certainly the 92 now. So I'll pop this on the tasting notes, folks, for those who can't see it. Can you both see that?
Yep. I'm looking at it now.
It's from a company that, and I googled this company, and there was nothing whatsoever because this is 92, 93, so of course the internet wasn't around there. So a company called Supercard and Comics, based in Warren, New Jersey. Dial 1-800-CARD-773. I haven't actually tried to dial that number. Norrin, do you want to get on that after this episode?
Sure, I'll do it right now.
Yeah. But they have full-page ad where they're selling the original artwork.
Oh,
and they've got them all listed there. Yeah, 1 to 99, and then they've got the classic battles, which is the Battle Spectra. And the prices on there are incredible. Now, at the time of press, Norrin, Silver Surfer was available for $2,000.
Why are you bringing stuff up like that, Ian? You know that hurts my feelings, right? It makes me cry asleep. I can't believe each battle.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. The number you dialed has been changed, disconnected, or is no longer in service.
It doesn't work.
Did you actually just do that on the air? That's hilarious. Welcome. That's absolutely hilarious.
Welcome. I can't believe the Battle Spectras were $3,000 each. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. I just think it's an amazing advert. It's absolutely amazing advert. I'm going to scan it in high res because it's the kind of advert I'd actually want to print out and put in my binder, my 92 binder, because I love all of that connected stuff that goes with the set. So I get
character selection.
I know.
I mean, I don't think I've ever taken the time to look at all the characters that are in 92.
Oh, when it's listed like that. I mean, Black Cat was already sold. So if it makes you feel any better, at the time this advert came out, someone had always snaffled
No
up Black
chance.
Cat.
Retroactively, you had no chance.
Yeah, even if I get in a time machine and go back to when this magazine came out and dialed 1-800 card 773, I would be a loser. I would lose out. So Mark, have you ever dabbled into original art at all?
Oh my gosh, I have not yet, but I told myself one day, like by the time I've stopped collecting, I'd like to own like an original piece. So of either Joe Jusko's probably, but 92, there's some stuff floating around. I've seen on different websites for sale and stuff. But I would like to one day, and I love that Dave Palumbo had what he had done, where he kind of gave our group, the group that you guys are admin on, that you run, he gave us the opportunity to see the original art before, it's out more to the public and stuff. So we have kind of the opportunity, if the stars align and, then we can have that chance.
Yeah, well, I mean, when he was, when the first set of images from Masterpieces 2020 dropped about 6-8 weeks back now, with that weekend he added those original paintings of the cards he could show to his website for sale, and popped the link on his own feed and on Marvel Masterpieces Collectors, and it's just great that we have that opportunity and we have that connection with the artist that they're willing to do that.
Yeah, and be sure to go to his site for anybody who's listening, because he is putting out a call where you can sign up to be on his email server. And basically what he's already done is email people who are waiting to see that original art. And he's already given directions on what he's going to do and how it's going to go up. I believe week to week in a certain batch, week to week type of thing. And people, will be responded to. So, and he's also going to make that announcement in the group, from what he's told Ian and I. So, I mean, that was originally the whole thing about the group, right? Was to be able to get these opportunities for people who are going to actually want these things and enjoy them,
Yeah. Well, it's a first and foremost, MMC was, for fans and appreciation of all the Marvel Masterpieces series.
Right.
So, and long may that continue. So Mark, did you, 92, when you were kind of 10, 11, did you then kind of stay with the cards and do any of the other Masterpieces sets in the 90s?
Just 92 and 93.
Okay.
Because, most of the time, I was, because you started as a comic book, right? So when I was a kid, my dad would take me to the comic book shop, and that's kind of why I also love 92, because I remember just those memories of when my dad would take me as a kid and get these comic books. And then that was kind of so I kind of did both the comic books and then the cards, but then eventually the cards just took over. And for me, it was because comic books are great, there's history and stuff, and you can read before digital technology, you can read it and stuff. But with cards, I mean, they don't take up as much space, and then with the comic books, you can read digitally for most of them, so it's they're not for me, I still collect some of the slab books if, Price is Right and stuff, but they're not, the comic books are not being used for what they were intended for, which was reading. When they were first made. But the cards, I mean, you're getting the intended use out of them, which was appreciating the card. There's nothing you need to open up and stuff that you don't see.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened with me too, man. Yeah, for sure. I'm the same way. I've read all the issues of Surfer, and I've dived into other stories, especially ones that are standalones and one shots and the limited 5 issues, because I like those more condensed stories than serialized stuff and indie comics and graphic novels. But what it ended up coming down to was that I like the idea of holding original art in my hand. Yeah. I don't like that that idea of being able to store art and have this kind of memorative collection about all these different pieces and seeing how it's like holding a gallery. You know what I mean? You basically are getting to go to this gallery and look at all these pieces. I don't know, for me too. And the trading, the collecting, the, looking for grails, all that stuff, it's just resonated with me very similarly. Yeah.
So on the comics, well, I guess on the character side of things, is there any particular character or comics that you kind of have an affinity to, or is it different for comics and cards? Or obviously we know what no one's into.
Yeah.
What?
It was funny. It kind of evolved, for me. Like when I was a kid, it was all about Spider-Man and his villains. Amazing Spider-Man. And one of my first issues was like the one where Carnage came, and so like that was kind of like where.
362 is that
361? I think 361.
Yes. Yeah.
So like literally, like I think the first issue I ever got from my dad was like 360, which was like right before, and then 361 with that iconic cover. So that's kind of like what got me hook, line, and sinker. So as a kid, mostly like Spider-Man, and then more recently, like Thanos. It's kind of completely different, because you have galactic, galaxy type stuff. But I don't know. I think I just with the movies that came out, the MCU movies that came out, like with Thanos, I think it kind of became more of his, like a collector of his character.
Interesting.
It's a great character.
That Carnage run, was that Mark It was Mark Bagley's artwork at that period, wasn't it? Yeah. It's bizarre because I've recently just made a very difficult decision to jump off the Amazing. Are we keeping you up, Norrin? Are we keeping you up?
I tried to do it quietly. It got cold in North Carolina, so my feet got cold and I yarned. I don't know what's wrong with me.
The thing is, I know why it is. I know why it is. It's because you were drinking a bedtime drink before we started recording. You were drinking cocoa. Yeah.
I drink coffee, and Ian can't get over it. And he caught me this morning out of my Silver Surfer mug, drinking hot cocoa. Ladies and gentlemen, I am 7 years old.
That's quite right. Either that or 70 with a blanket over your knees and slippers on. So,
I'm okay with that too. I'm fine with it.
I record most episodes like that, so that's okay. With my Amazing Spider-Mans, I keep talking about this on episodes because it's for me it's a big deal because I'm very difficult to stay focused as a collector, so I tend to try and get if it's especially with comics. So I've literally just parted with about half my comic collection, and I've capped Amazing Spider-Man at 801 at the end of Dan Slott's run because it's a perfect jumping off point. And I had the issues since with the is it Nick Spencer is the writer at the moment? I can't remember now. Anyway, and it just wasn't kind of clicking with me. I just wasn't digging his stories, and I was like, you know what, I'm not enjoying it. And actually, where does it end? Because you're up to issue 850 soon with Amazing Spider-Man, and it's like there's only so many comics you can actually have from one long-running series. So I've capped it off there, but I don't actually own those Carnage issues. There's kind of a gap where I stopped buying Amazing Spider-Man that I've gone and backfilled, but of course, because they're some of the most expensive issues, I don't have those issues, which is rather frustrating. Fortunately, I do have Amazing Spider-Man 300, which is a pretty pricey book these days, especially in high grades. So do you? You mentioned slab stuff. So what catches your eye when you're buying the slabbed comics? Is it the iconic covers, or issues that kind of mean stuff to you, or both?
Recently it's been like the iconic covers for me. I haven't, it's like I usually do one or the other. I mean, I'd say in the past, for me, since like 2016 when I got back into collecting and stuff, I'd say 90% of my collecting was in cards, like Marvel cards, and then like 10% recently was on the books. But it was mostly like the iconic covers. And if it's at a good price, like there's a lot of the good thing with comic books is there's so many of them where you can look up how much the going rate is and market trends are. So you can feel like you can get like a good price for them. So if I feel like there's one on auction or something that's going for a little less, and I have some funds to do it, then and if it's Spider-Man, then I might pick it up. But with cards, it's so different because the market's so small. Like you have so many cards that are like out of 10 or out of 25. And then some people go. Some people have like they grade them too. So the higher the grade, the higher. So it's hard because I don't know if there's a publication out there that says, okay, this one, like, I mean, because I think recently there have been a lot of sales on eBay for the 2016 Silver Spectrums, I think, like recently. And so, like, I don't know if you can find a publication that says, yep, this is worth X amount of dollars.
Well, Non-Sport Update has traditionally always had a price guide. I haven't personally purchased non-sport update for a number of years now, just because I was kind of I don't know. I just kind of stopped buying it at a certain point. But not that I didn't like it. I just kind of got out of the habit of it, and I no longer work 50 yards away from Forbidden Planet that used to get it in, which is probably another reason. But one of the interesting things about the non-sport update price guide that I heard people kind of commenting about is that they had Marvel Masterpieces 96 listed, and people were going, well, if I could get it at that price that your price guide says it was, then I'd probably buy 5 sets and then sell the rest and pay my mortgage. I think it's very difficult with the best will in the world. I think it's very challenging for anyone to try and do that. So hats off to them for doing what they do, because since eBay and especially ComC, those prices change, so incredibly regularly. Daily.
Because here's the thing, right? So Kevin St. Jack, Kevin number 1, right? Yep. He's been really amazing at, trying to price these things and doing things on our channel where it's like top 25 market trends and really investigating and doing a great job doing that. It's funny. Everyone always posts on these things, and actually recently just spoke to a guy who's a little bit of an odd egg, but, basically was like, what are the top cards I should be getting? I want to get them now. I just want to do all the Grail stuff first. And I think the reason I laugh about that is that you have to know the hobby to know what to get, because there's things that are very much more obscure than the Silver Spectrums that are just as expensive, right? So all of us know about these and understand, how rare they are, and in terms of, the type of condition they are in and all that kind of stuff, and they're extremely difficult to get. I think, honestly, people who are coming into card collecting, MM16 is the set that has the highest value, and it is. It's one of the sets that continues to climb in price, even though prices, I would argue, are balancing out. You're seeing on eBay sold listings. That's your answer, right? eBay sold listings, that's the best way you can gauge it. And you also have to be honest with yourself too. Does it mean that much to you to spend $1,200, $1,500, $1,800, or $3,500 on a Red Spectrum Spider-Man?
Which is the extreme.
Which is the extreme.
That is very much a very small proportion of, the top 1%, I would say.
I think the thing, though, my point is that, if you're looking at tier 4 cards for the base, then you're looking at, like a 150, 120, depending on the character, and the price goes up and down. But it also depends when other sets are coming out. It depends on, the sold listings, the ComC, how many are out there, who's selling a full set. But Mark, you're talking about Silver Spectrum autographs, right? Yeah,
like the 2016 ones. Yeah. Because I think Spider-Man, there was a Spider-Man that sold recently for a lot more than I thought it would. And then I think the 2018 Red Spectrum sold recently too. For 2018, and that was about a little bit higher than I thought it would sell for also.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, there may be only 1 or 2 people in market for that.
Exactly.
And that I think that's the thing. It's not something whereby, I see listings that have sat on eBay for an awfully long time at a high price, and you think, well, actually, there's either not a market for that card, because if there is, they'll have found it, and or they're not willing to pay as much as you've got it listed for. So there's because there is only so much someone's willing to pay. Now, if one person comes along, and this is always the frustration with such a limited thing like this, if just one person comes along and says, yes, I'm willing to pay that, even though in the last 5 years no one else has been willing to do so, suddenly the card is worth that much. Even though there might be 9 others of them out there, which in almost no other area of buying and selling would that be the case. But because it's such a limited thing, that's kind of, I find it quite strange. Possibly original artwork and paintings and things.
See, and that's where I draw the line too. I think a lot of times, I think this stuff happens in sports cards. You know what I mean? Quite a bit. This is like kind of like card. Look, when you look at CGC and you do a graded comic, you know exactly what different grades sell for, because there's a little bit of a range, and there's tons of apps you can look at. I'm sure you know about this, right, Mark, and all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yep.
You can track these things. No one's really doing the tracking with the cards. 1, because it's not that big of a hobby. 2, it's pretty rare to have those kind of prices that would make other companies want to track it because it is kind of fresh. I do think Marvel Masterpieces 16 and up are going to change the market in the future, hopefully. So it brings more attention and all that kind of good stuff. Hopefully I can get my stuff before then. But no, and I, honestly, I don't believe in this. Look, for me personally, I always do it on, if I can buy original art for this price, which is a totally different segment, a totally different hobby, you know what I mean, than card stuff.
Yeah.
It really is, and other people don't look at it that way. Yeah. It's just that what I value out of cards is the artwork, not the card, right? I value having that experience with the artwork. So if I can buy the original artwork for the same price as like a Red Spectrum, then I have a problem as a collector paying that much for the card. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
Makes absolutely perfect sense. It's interesting that this came up. Someone on the group earlier today was posted a signed Flair card. So in Marvel Flair 2019, the artist signed, I think it was 30.
Peach.
Yeah, 30. Yeah. So specifically Peach, but just generally across the set, every artist signed 30. So there'll be 30 of each of Eric Gist's. There'll be 30 of Dave DeVries' pieces. There'll be 30 of Sean Galloway. And each Peach Momoko's 30. Now, of those, Peach Momoko's is definitely seen a level of stock rising because she's now more of a hot artist on the variant cover scene, deservedly so. And obviously she's got anime coming out as well, which I think is perfectly timed given how much more popular she is. And yeah, it's great, and I love her work, and it's well deserved. Interestingly, on the Flair and Flareum, particularly the one I'm looking at now is the Black Cat. The signed ones are only limited to 30, and so now, well, it's very interesting that they are listed for a lot on ComC. But I'm not sure they're actually going for that on ComC, because when you look at sold listings for signed Flair cards on eBay, they are all, well, there's only a few of them showing at the moment, and they're all 200 or below, and they've all taken best offer. So it's very difficult to actually see what they're selling for. So I think there's a certain amount of speculation going on with them, people putting them on at 300-400 and hoping that they get them. But they are definitely drying up. People are going for those. Now, I'm very glad. I'm just going to pull it out and show you here, the card, not anything else. My Flareum, my Flareum cat, if my background will let me do it, I'm going to turn my background off. You know what? Let's turn your background off. Say, Norrin, say, Ian, turn your background off.
Ian, turn your background off.
Marvellous. We'll edit that. So there's my Flareum side, and I think I got that. Me and you, Norrin, we both went in. We scooped up our relevant characters.
Yes, that's right.
Because you had buybacks from Surfer in that set.
Yeah, I picked that up quick. Yeah, I wasn't going to because those go up in price too. By the way, I love Peach's signature. Yeah, I love Peach's signature. God,
you can see it.
One of my favorite signatures.
The silver just there.
These are nice cards too, man. The Flareums are beautifully designed.
I'll put this on the tasting notes. So I've got number 23 of 30. Now, so those are, I think I maybe paid, well, wouldn't have been much more than 50, maybe a bit below. And I think both my buybacks I got for about 20 or 30. And they're just numbered to 20. So, and I'm glad I got those quickly. And I guess what I'm coming around to, Mark, and I think it tails into when you kind of said that you sat down and suddenly looked and you were at the right time, is I still remember to this day looking on eBay a Silver Spectrum Auto Black Cat from 2016 and thinking about it for 5 minutes, going back, and it was gone, and it was about $150, and it was within the few days of the set being broken.
Oh,
and
wow.
to this day, I wish I'd snapped that up. Because, you know, I'm not interested in, Joe's signature is lovely, but I'm not going to pay, you know, massive amounts for that one. So, you know, that card's gone for me now. You know, I would have paid a certain amount for it, but the amount they're going for now, I wouldn't do. So I guess what I'm coming around to, there is a limit to what our value perception of what we're willing to spend. Like Norrin, you said, you know, you'll go up to a certain amount on an original piece of artwork if it sinks to you.
I mean, honestly, I found the Red Spectrum Silver Surfer The amount of
Wow.
money. Yeah, I found it. I know exactly where it is. Well, I know the email address where it's located.
And
I
that'll
haven't
be on the
stalked
tasting
him
notes,
yet,
folks.
or
That'll
her.
be on the tasting notes. No.
But I found it. The price. I had in mind a number. I shot it out there. He's very nice. Not a bad dude or woman. I'm not sure. And this person said they had offers that were, not significantly higher, but higher enough where I was kind of like, at that point, I'm not interested. And I have my speculation. I have my beliefs on where the prices are going to hit ceiling and where they'll fall and where they'll end up being in the future and all this other stuff, which, to be honest, is not a popular opinion because I've spoken to other people who are more just, and Mark's very modest about his collection. Mark's a badass. He really is. I don't have that kind of collection. It's very time dedication. He pulled the trigger on smart moves constantly. But me personally, I hit that ceiling and I'm just like, I just don't want to do it. And as crappy as it is, as much as I would love to have that red spec surfer, you have to be okay with your collection. I think a lot of times people get into the values.
Yeah. If it's over your value threshold, then, just walk away, sleep at night.
There's other cards, man. It's going to happen.
Yes.
Like there's going to be tons of more cards and things that are going to be different and more exciting. I mean, look at MM 2020 as a segue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, honestly, you have MM16, MM18, MM20. Each one has such a different style of art that people are coming in and out of these sets in a very natural way. It's like, I love this art. I'll take it. I'm not so much about this. I'm on 18. Let me go pick up what I'm missing from 18.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
like
go
that.
With what tickles your fancy. Yeah. So, Mark, what are you going in for 2020?
I am. I mean, I don't. Recently I've looked at the group, and there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of people are super excited for it. So, but I think I'm probably I might just start out with just trying to get to the tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3 cards, and then tier 4 stuff. If stuff pops around, I might try and pick those up if they're But I think there's a lot of interest in 2020, and a lot of people are, just reading the comments on the group, they're very excited for it. So I think it's going to be high demand. It'll probably, whenever it goes on an EPAX, I don't know when that'll be, probably in 3 or 4 months. I think it'll sell out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it'll be gone before we know it. I mean, what was the day count on 18 again, Ian?
11.
So
11 days. Wow.
11. And the speculation right now is that, there's going to be more product on EPAC than there would be in hobby stores just by, people's ability to get boxes and stuff like that. So maybe it'll last just a little bit longer based on volume size. But yeah, I think people are really excited about this new set. I think it's fun, man. It's it's about time. It's it's getting everybody ready to go.
I mean, it is limited. They can't print more because they number them. So it is what it is.
That's what I like, man. I prefer it numbered. I know it's harder to get product and to build sets and all that stuff, but as a collector, my personal preference is that things are numbered. I'd rather them be numbered than not.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen folks saying, if they're making it so hard to get. One of the comments that it wound me up a little bit, actually, where they're making it so hard to get. How are they ever expecting to attract people into the hobby? Masterpieces isn't your entry level attracting people into the hobby product. It's for, it is a high end, more premium set. Yeah, exactly. And that's what they made it with Just Go coming back in 2016.
Any product that's put in a retail store, that's the product that's going to get people going. You don't see Star Wars Masterworks in hobby store and in like Target very often, if at all. I don't think. Like Marvel Annual, I think that's a great set. There's beautiful cards in that set.
Marvel Annual's amazing.
Yeah, that's lovely. A great entry set. It's not crazy expensive, and there's a lot of cool, fun inserts and new characters, and it's updated. You know what I mean? That's fun. But they're
really cool cards.
No, you don't look at Masterpiece and think that. I think Masterpiece is probably on the highest end of our hobby, right?
I think so. Yeah, I know Premiere is a high price point, but I think Premiere is all about the sketches. So
it's a subcategory.
Yeah, exactly. So Premiere is kind of a very different thing. Masterpieces is without doubt the most premium original art set there is out there. So Mark, what's your what's the most? You might not want to tell me this, or you might not. You might want to tell me the amount, but you.
Don't.
No, I'm just going to ask. What's the most you've spent on a card?
Don't ask. Don't say it, Mark. Keep it to yourself.
No, I'd like to take the fifth on that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I live in the UK. That has a different meaning. Anyway, all right, fair enough.
You know what I'd like to just touch on though. I think you guys brought up a really good point about entry level and things like that, like different entry points. The first time I really realized, if I can somehow bring this together, the first time I realized there were kind of different markets. When Joe Jusko had the IDW book out for his 2016 set, he made a comment and he said, they're kind of like different segments. Like you have book, the book form of the art, and then you have like the card, and it's like they're different markets, different people. And I realized that too, like when I go into like comic book stores, like, and I ask, hey, do you guys have like Marvel Masterpieces? And like, this is a couple years ago. And the people that I would ask are like, well, wasn't that set from 92? I'm like, no, they came out with a new set. And
Yeah.
And like, so these people, like, they don't like the LCS people, like they don't really know because it's in a different market, it's a completely different market, different type of collector. And then also with cards now too, which I think is great with the anime set, because I think the anime set, when it comes out, I think it's gonna bring people who are not really into Marvel cards yet, but are into anime, and then so it's like they're like growing the pie, I think, by doing that. So I think that's a great idea. It'll be interesting to see. I've seen some of the sketches that people have done for anime, or the ones that are out on the internet, and it is an interesting take. And it's just nice to reimagine stuff. So
it refreshes the hobby, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to go for a box of that. I mean, it's not very often that Marvel will do stuff with their license like that. You know what I mean? Or, take the risk and show these characters differently, because there is so much money behind all these characters realistically. So, doing stuff with a license like that can be kind of nerve-wracking, I'm sure, for people who own those properties. But you don't see that very often, and I would always prefer innovation over stagnant type of product, you know what I mean? Over repetition. Always. Always. I would rather have that. That's why I like that all the artists for the Masterpieces series have been different. I remember, people are always up in arms about the different artists or whatever the case may be. There is something I did want to talk about, which would be fun for the show, but I'll segue into that. But yes, the different artists, I like that they're doing radically different artists, and they all have different takes, because I think it keeps the series fresh, and I think it keeps everyone coming back for more, and also bringing other people into it who might know the niche of the hobby. But diving into something that I wanted to ask Mark about, and Ian, because we haven't even talked about it, the checklist.
Yes.
The checklist.
Sorry, you started me off flicking through the Jusko IDW book, and I'm just lost in it.
That's beautiful.
It's just
That's
beautiful.
a great book, man.
I mean, seriously, it's a weightlifting piece, this thing.
Nice.
For those who haven't had this, I strongly recommend you pick it up. Featuring a brand new introduction by Bill Sienkiewicz. I really properly need to sit down and have another read of this book. It's just beautiful.
That's interesting.
Yeah, no, for some reason, I think every time I've looked at it, I've just gone in for the artwork.
Yeah, me too. I didn't notice that.
I've owned this for 2 years. I've never read Bill's intro, so Bill, apologies for that if you listen. But the checklist for 2020. Listen, we'll talk about it. I mean, we are going to do. Norrin doesn't know this yet, but we are going to do kind of a review episode about 2020.
Right.
And Dave will come back and talk to us about the artworks he couldn't talk about. Dave Palumbo, he has promised to make a return visit to this very podcast, folks. So, Dave, thank you for that. But yeah, that checklist. I guess I better get it up on my screen, because I'm kind of almost. In fact, no. Hang on a minute. I'll have a look at the wonderful little checklist images. Are they trading card format?
For the Instagram thing.
Yeah. So Norrin did some rather nice tier 1, 2, 3, and 4 checklist kind of cards, if you like, images that you could, in card format. So I guess the biggest thing is the shuffling around of characters.
Yes. The Spider-Man is now a tier 1, so it's very accessible.
And Captain America. Iron Man.
Yep.
And Deadpool.
Thor. Ghost Rider. Jeez, all the biggies. Black Panther's there too.
They missed a trick not putting Thor as card number 4. I'm just going to say that.
I agree.
Sorry.
I think it's fascinating. No, I mean, honestly, okay, Mark, since you're our guest, you go first, brother. What's your thoughts on this? How you feeling? What you like about it? What you dislike about it?
I do like that it's, I think, because Spider-Man for 16 and 18 was so like hard to get for a lot of people. It's tier 4 and stuff. So I think now it's cool that you have access to it if you're like an entry level or kind of like a first time collector to masterpieces. I think it's interesting. It's cool to mix it up. The tier 4 though, like I don't know about like Ego. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to reserve judgment, but I think it's just interesting. I think it's going to be, I don't think people are going to be so hardcore into Ego as they would be if it was Spider-Man, if it was a tier 4.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, I think Upper Deck have deliberately listened there to feedback. About the fact that the most popular characters were that high up. So, and hats off to them. I think, listen, they're going to please some people with changing stuff and annoy others. So I don't think you ever get it right. But we'll put this on the tasting notes. I'm just going to read out tier 4, which are limited to just 99 cards. Just because I'm not going to read out all the others because there's too many of them. So tier 4. So you've still got Wolverine in there, and he was a tier 4 last time. Yep. Then you've got Scar. I'm not sure I know. Help me out, Scar.
I had to look him up too. I think he's some kind of derivation of Hulk, like a future Hulk or a future Hulk song or something.
He has a really cool design to him, but it is very Hulk-esque.
Okay, good. All right. Then you've got Red Skull, and I can't wait to see what Dave has done.
Yeah,
with
I think
Red
that's
Skull.
gonna be awesome. I think.
Agreed.
Then you've got, and this is another one I don't know.
I'm so excited about this one.
Great Gargoyle.
I'm excited. I like Great Gargoyle. I don't know. Do you guys remember?
No.
He was in the 92 set, wasn't he? Mark?
Which set?
92? I could have sworn he was in Marvel.
No, Great Gargoyle's not in 92. Let me. I'm going to Google now.
Check. I just know. I think Great Gargoyle. I thought he was mostly like. He started off as a Thor guy, right? A Thor character.
No, that's probably why. Super villain. Right, he's a super villain. Journey into Mystery 107, August 64. Mm-hmm. It's a Jack Kirby one. Okay. Right, yeah. No, see, Thor, I've never really gotten into Thor comics, so this is always one of my blind spots when it comes to characters in sets, is if it's in Thor, chances are I won't have a clue who it is. It kind of looks like a grey version of Mr. Sinister, in a way. When you although he's got really blue gloves. You can even get a Marvel Legends figure of him, so he must be pretty well established if they've done a Marvel Legends figure. Okay, interesting. Then you've got Ego, the Living Planet. Now I have a feeling that's not going to look like Kurt Russell from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's probably going to look more like it's going to look more like the angry Pac-Man version that you normally get.
I hope I see that goatee, man. I'm excited. Sexy Ego, the Living Planet goatee. That's hot. By the way, the Grey Gargoyle, I'm an idiot. I was thinking of 94. There's a female gargoyle that Hildebrandt did. I forget her name.
I don't
remember.
Flipping my mind as well.
Yeah, but she's beautiful. But I don't know why I confuse those things. I messed that up. So I'll take that lick. That's fine. Next.
Quite all right. So, Ego the Living Planet. You Google image Ego the Living Planet, and you get some just mad stuff. It's almost as bad as googling MODOK. Anyway, then you've got Storm. So that's interesting. I think she was tier 3 last time.
I think so too. Yeah.
I like Storm as a tier 4.
She's had a promotion. Cool. That's good. Then you've got Martinex, another character that I'm not as familiar with, but I know that it kind of when I've seen the imagery, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the kind of Spider-Man noir, kind of almost in a way, that some of the imagery you see of the character, if I'm thinking of the right person. But that's more on the X-Men kind of spectrum, I believe. Mm-hmm. You type in Martinex, and I end up with loads of pictures of Anyway, so we'll move on. Craven at 89. This is like doing the pop charts. Craven this week is down to 89. We all know Craven, Craven the Hunter.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, and then 90 is Emma Frost.
And we've seen the card art for Emma Frost too.
Have we?
We have.
Really?
It was on Upper Deck's site, and it was showing her what if.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that one. All right, I'll go and have a butcher's at that then. I personally, I love that they've mixed it up.
Yeah, I think
really
so.
Do.
Yeah.
I think it needed it. I think I might be wrong. No, I might not be wrong. I'm just going to say it. I think some people are a bit cheesed off because they maybe don't see the value in those characters being tier 4 because they know they'll have to pay more to complete them, whereas they'll pay that much for a Spider-Man.
I don't know if that tier 4 is going to demand the prices that it's been demanding. I think it's going to change with this set. I think Orange is going to become a little more expensive because all of them will be 99 and you'll have your Spider-Man 99 at that point. And I think it puts a target on Wolverine's back. I think that's going to be the card that people are going to run for pretty
popular.
Right?
Yeah.
I think so. That's a good point.
Yeah. Wolverine's always been popular. I mean, it was the lead image they released for the set. Pretty much.
Yeah, that's true. Right. That and Venom. That's going to be a big one. Venom and him.
Venom. Where is Venom? Let me have a look. What tier is Venom in? Venom is tier... I can't find him. Where is he?
Oh, he's tier 1. He's number 18.
Ah, yes, of course. That's right. Yeah, tier 1 goes up to 36. So
they even put Venom as tier 1. Wow. Punisher is there too.
Yep. Black
Arcade. That's crazy. Yeah, Cat's at 23. That's gonna be nice.
And again, this is why I want to come and talk to. This is why I want to talk to Dave again when we're in a position to do so, because there's some characters in here that are real deep cuts. And if I remember correctly, I have a feeling that there were probably. I don't want to say the number because I'm remembering it wrong, and I don't want to misquote Dave. But I do remember hearing him say somewhere that there were a certain number that he had to have in there. That were kind of like, okay, you have to have these characters. And then it was kind of like, but then you can choose what you want. So I know, for example, Howard the Duck is in tier 3.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck.
I'm so excited about Howard.
As soon as this checklist come out, I messaged Dave and I said, Howard the Duck. And then I repeated it in caps. Howard the Duck. We have to talk.
Well, this is even crazier. They have Pip the Troll.
Yeah. And I think Dave was really excited about that too.
Yeah.
Comments. So, and I think it'd be cool. I mean, because I don't think I've seen him Pip the Troll much in other cards. So it'll be cool to see his take on it.
I think we got some crazy people too. I think we got Blade and Rogue. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Was Blade and Rogue in the first two, 18 and 16?
Rogue was in 16.
That's right. I think Blade was. I don't know. Hang on.
Blade was in 16 also. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember doing it on Daily Masterpieces. There were some properly interesting. There's not many deep cuts in level 1 in tier 1. So tier 1 is kind of shut up and play the hits.
Yeah, that is true.
So it is very much a crowd pleaser. So I would say that is it possible because tier 1 are normally because there's 2,000 of each card basically. It's numbered to 1999. So when we've previously seen like the set fully break, tier 1 cards have obviously been much lower in value because there's the most of them. So you can still acquire a tier 1 set relatively affordably of 2018 and 2016.
Agreed.
Do we think that the tier 1 set is going to be a little bit more expensive this time around?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think this will just put pressure on like other inserts that are everyone's numbered really low, so like Orange, and I think it'll put pressure on the Silver Spectrums too. Yeah. Personally.
Interesting. Okay. I just want to pull out some of the deep cuts because people can go through these. I'm really excited that Hellstorm is in there.
Yes.
And Surtur as well.
And Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. Now, interesting fun fact, folks. The first time I've seen her in any Marvel card set with the new name. They've stopped calling her Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I was wondering who that was.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they changed their name recently. So I guess they changed their name for Masterpieces too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hulk's in level 2, so he's kind of a Doctor Strange. There's some really nice ones from the Krakoa I'm really interested in seeing because of the House of X, Powers of X prominence.
Oh, that's who that is.
And I'm also deeply excited that Ebony Moore is in the mix for tier 2 because there are some really good visualizations of that character. But again, there's some here that I'm like, Ex Nihilo? Who's that?
Yeah, I'm not really sure who that is either.
Yeah.
Same.
But I like that because for me, there will be characters I discover from this set.
Mm-hmm. Red Queen. I don't really know who Red Queen is.
Yeah, Red Queen.
Isn't Red Queen? Let me look. Oh, okay. So yeah, Ebony Maw. That's right.
Ebony Maw's one of the Thanos
That's a good one.
gang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, Red Queen looks awesome. That is a sick costume. So she looks really great.
Is it X-Men related?
Yeah, it is. So she has like that dominatrix type of costume, and then she's had it change here and there. But yeah, I think Dave's style will suit that really well.
And in tier 3, the one apart from Howard the Duck, the one that I'm really excited about is Sentinels. I mean, the Sentinels just visually, whenever anyone's tackled that, it's just great. And and much like Taskmaster, which is one of the holofoils, I believe. Taskmaster has got Captain America, Vision, and someone else at the bottom of that image. So it wouldn't be at all surprised if Sentinels might have other characters kind of on there, maybe slicing and dicing them a little bit, or being given a hard time by the Sentinels. So, but there's a few there that I just don't know, like Egghead.
Boom Boom is in there, man. I haven't seen Boom Boom in a while. That's cool.
Who's Egghead?
Who's Egghead?
Egghead.
I don't know who he's part of, but he literally. I mean, think of Humpty Dumpty. I think it's probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's a mad scientist kind of looking guy with an egghead shape.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. I love it. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see some more of the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's going to be a fun set. There's a lot of nice little surprises there. And I think a lot of people too. I think most of the time people pick their favorites based on the art they really like.
Yeah.
Like I love Wasp now because of MM18. I love what Bianchi did with Wasp in that card image. Just absolutely beautiful. So I'm excited to see like all these new characters and Dave's take on them. It's gonna be pretty fun.
I like they've mixed it up a bit.
I don't know if you guys have already discussed this on the page or anything, but do we know if the run is about the same as 16 and 18? Like, because I know they added metallurgy, so I don't know. Does that mean they're going to be more cards overall, or the same number of cards? I think 900 cases was like what we come up with for 16 and 18. Like, do you think 900 cases is about going to be the same for 20?
I think it will be nudged slightly higher, just simply to fit in the metallurgy, but not much. They're producing the same amount of all the others from all the clown maths that we've seen on the. I can't remember. Someone did do a really excellent post where they did a spreadsheet and they actually used all the numbers. Matt Parks might have done that actually. Rings a bell, and it's a great one to look at. But you look at it and you very quickly go cross-eyed. So who knows? I mean, the metallurgy numbered. They're effectively they're metal cards, hand numbered to 25. They're going to interesting. I don't know what I do like is when you look at the checklist, the preliminary art this time has the same numbering as the main set. Yeah,
very nice.
Which is actually really pleasing for me. So, for example, when I eventually do get the different the Black Cat cards, number 23, it'll be nice to have the numbering the same when you look at them. It's just kind of a nice, pleasing thing when you see it in the page.
Or you can have it as an insert, right? Because for the other set, you kind of only got to see the pre-work, not of all the base, right? You got some of the battle, you got some of the kaleidoscope,
right.
But at least now you'll have at least every base card you see in the set, you'll see a prelim of that art. Also, you have a chance at getting a redemption card. So all the base art that's in here, all the redemptions that are owned are by Upper Deck, and they have just the base. So number 1 through 90, they have all those artworks as prelims. So technically, if you see a card you like, you can get a redemption card or eventually third market in, secondhand or whatever.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers
exciting.
crossed. So Mark, if you opened a box tomorrow of 2020, what would be the thing you would hope would be in there? What would be your ideal pull?
Probably. There's a lot of good stuff here. A lot of good material. But for me, I think if I pulled a Red Spectrum, that would be really cool.
Any particular character or any Red Spectrum?
Any Red Spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I agree.
Good. All right.
I agree. I like Dave's signature. Spectrums might be nice. The little pool too. That might be really fun. But
I saw his sketch cards too. The sketch cards that he's doing, I think they're really good. They almost look
really
like mini paintings.
They really do. They really do. They look clean. Very, very clean. And they're marked off phenomenal. Too. Yeah, they're actually marked off. So I think from the difference between Jusco, Bianchi, and Palumbo was that Jusco, for APs, he did the whole card, acrylic or whatever. For the base, it was headshots mostly, right, Mark?
Yeah. For the base, yeah.
Yeah, and then, for the base for Bianchi, you had the prelim kind of drawings of portraits for the characters, and then for the APs, they were painted, but still portraits. And I like Bianchi's negative space, so there's a lot of white space still on the card, and kind of suits the format of the card really well, in my opinion. And then you look at Palumbo, and Palumbo's taped off the edges like you would on a canvas to give you that square, and it's just a full square of a painting. And not all portraits either. I mean, if you look at the video, you get a sneak peek of the Iron Man. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That thing looked gorgeous, and that was almost full body, I think.
Yeah. Very close, yeah. I think so.
Very close. Very clean, very nice. So there's a lot of good range there between all three as well. I think what's going to be fun is seeing because now that we have 3, we have 9-page 3 rows. You know what I mean? So you can get a sketch from each artist and put them in a 3 row. And
yeah. Oh,
right?
That's interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah.
It's going to be cool to see the pairings. I'm excited to see what people get inventive with and creative with. It's going to be pretty fun to see that. Eventually, man, down the line, it's going to be 9 pages.
Wow.
APs. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool to see.
Nice. So, Mark, I'm just curious to know a little bit more about your collection. So, is it primarily sketches, or do you still have a fair amount of base cards and kind of set builds that you do?
Yeah, it's mostly it's kind of everything really. Mostly 2016 is kind of what I got into.
Okay.
But sketches, yeah, for sure. Actually, Matt, I was gonna post this, but I haven't had a chance to. Matt Fuller has been very, very helpful for me. He's obviously very well-known collector too for sketches. Yeah. So I worked with him, and I was able to get at least one sketch of every artist on 2016. So
wow.
Yeah. I have them scanned, but I took a picture. Maybe I'll do it today and just have it just 202 cards or whatever, one of each artist. So yeah, and they were pack inserted, so I was really happy about that. I was able to finish
so that none of them are APs.
None of them are APs. Well, I have APs so I do have APs of some of them that I was hard to get. I had APs. I had settled for those until I talked to Matt, and I was able to get the ones that were not APs.
So you've basically collated a sketch master set, one of each artist pack pulled.
Yeah, wow. through Matt's help. I mean, Matt was instrumental. Yeah.
Wow, incredible
Scary,
work,
man.
sir. Noah, can we put some wild applause in at this point?
I'm doing it right now and play.
Oh,
You're being paraded through the city right now.
wow. You know,
That's
like
insane, man. That's
yeah.
freaking crazy. So what was the count? It was 222. Is that what you said?
I think it was 200, 202 or something like that. Just a little over 200. Yeah.
That's impressive work. I heard of people doing it from 2007, or at least attempting it from 2007, and some of the Rittenhouse sets as well. You know, I even considered doing it on Spider-Man Archives, but
yeah, you would have been close.
Yeah, well, on the if it would have to be Black Cat, but yeah.
Well, but yeah.
But yeah, wow, 202 sketches. I imagine you've got a real breadth of styles and characters there. I mean, you must have.
Yeah, lots. I mean, lots of different. Like Sandman, I had a lot of Sandman. I had a lot of Spider-Man. I was doing Sandman as like just that pose. I was collecting that pose for Sandman. The one from '92. And then, but yeah, I do have a lot of breadths. Like some characters, I only have like one sketch of just because I needed the artist. So, but yeah.
Well, you know what's cool about
whenever you post this on the group, then maybe I'll just also the same day I'll post that like a picture of the sketches.
That's perfect.
Well, yeah. I'll need some sort of image to represent you or your collection for the episode tile. So we'll talk about that afterwards. Okay. But wow, okay, that's incredible. So you got 202 sketches there. I'm just trying to get a sense of how deep in you are, because I know when we spoke to Rick Ortiz, I think he said he was maybe about 400 to 500 sketches, but he had that kind of limit because of the fact that he had these wall cabinets that he could fit so many in. And we saw them when we were on the, because it's beautiful. So he's got kind of a cap on his collection. I know some people. I recently did a count of my black cats, and I came in at about 170, something like that, which I'm going to be trimming down a little bit when I can actually get around to it. How many are we talking for you, sir? I mean, are we talking like Indiana Jones warehouse vault?
No, not so much. For 2016, I would say. I mean, I have an Excel sheet I keep track of. So I
don't
kind of nerdy. Yeah,
I don't.
For 2016, I think I have like just over 500 sketches, and then for Marvel Beginnings, I have probably. Like with 1, 2, and 3, Marvel Beginnings 1, 2, and 3, probably like less than 100. And then from 2007, 2008, if I had to estimate, I have probably like 60. So because that was longer time ago.
Yeah.
And then for 18, I have very few. I have probably like 20 from 2018. So, but the artist sketch list for 20 is pretty good. I'm super excited to see Lock Lim on there because
baby. Yeah, and Tony Perna came back.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so good.
It's going to be crazy. Yeah, I think there's 156 artists if my count's closer. Maybe that's a little something like it was over 100 for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I saw 3 digits.
There you go, Mark. There's your magic number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you going to try and do that again? Do you think, or was that just a 2016?
I think that was a 2016 thing. Okay. I think it's it's going to be too hard to do that for 20 and 18.
Yeah.
And 16 is nice because you have that repetition of the pose. So technically, it's going to, I'm sure, I mean, I haven't seen it obviously, but I'm sure it mirrors the actual 92 set in a way, in a weird way. At least it has to come close, right? Because of all the poses being so similar. Wow.
Yeah.
That was a good idea, man. That was cool.
What I find is, just for those listening who might not know, so with 2016, the sketch artists had to base their sketches on one of the pieces of artwork from the 1992 Joe Jusko set. Now, some of them did it as an almost carbon copy, same character, same kind of pose. Some of them did it with different characters, but in the pose of that. So I'm just going to pull a random example out. Rogue, but done in the style of Iron Man. So on the back it says inspired by, or something like that. And the number of different crossing the streams I've seen, I mean, you must have some incredible mashup ones in that 202.
Yeah. I like to get like a little bit different. Actually, I don't know if because it's Sunday. The one that I got most recently was a commission of Thanos and Lady Death by Joven Mendoza. And that was like inspired by Joe Jusko's work on like from Tarzan. But it's just all his work.
And that is going to be today's Sunday Sketch Masterpiece, Mark. I had intended to post it last week, but I found one of Black Panther because it was appropriate to do so. I think so. Absolutely. But no, that will be today's. And for those who don't know, actually, we don't really talk about this much on the podcast. But I do this daily masterpiece. So every day I post, Monday through Saturday, I post an image that I take myself of a Marvel Masterpieces card. I don't own every single Masterpieces card from over the years, but I own probably 85% of them, I'd say, in terms of the base cards. And certainly almost all of the, so for example, 2018, I don't have the tier 4 base, but I do have the tier 4 base art in purple. So I can at least do that.
Nice.
See what I mean?
That's smart.
And I don't have the gold signature tier 4 from 2016 or any tier 4 for that matter. So I've not really posted many of those. But on Sundays, I do Sunday Sketch Masterpiece, and that is a sketch from any of the Marvel Masterpieces series that have had sketches in, and I ask people to, if they want to send submissions in for that. So thank you, Mark. You've done that a number of times, and
definitely
people. I will say, I will carry on doing it, but a lot of times people forget to send them in, and then I'll have feast or famine when I'll get loads. And then other months I'm just resorting to Google Images or DeviantArt for them.
I love that you do it, man. It's a nice way to get reminded of all these different sets, and plus sometimes seeing a card by itself outside of context just gets you excited about the set again and the card and the art specifically. Sometimes we get kind of tunnel vision in terms of like, let me fill all these gaps in. Yeah. You don't get really a chance to kind of enjoy the art. I appreciate you doing that, man. That's
me too.
It's fun doing it, and I had a really good when I had to venture out because I didn't have any submissions, and I was reminded that Chris Bacalo had done sketches in Masterpieces 07.
Yeah,
so I went and found an image of one of his. That obviously I don't own it, but I went and found an image of that and put it on the thing, and a lot of people were just like, and it's one of the highest viewed on the MM Collectors Instagram feed from this year so far. So when I get to the end of the year and I do my top 9, you do that top 9 thing.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
In terms of the most interacted with posts, that the sketches are always, 5 or 6 of those are always the sketches.
Yeah.
So people do, just really dig them. Mark, are you on Instagram? I can't remember if you are.
I am. I mostly Facebook, but yeah, I've created an Instagram account, and I follow you guys on Instagram too.
Ah, right. I have a feeling you're more of a lurker than a poster.
Yeah,
lurker. Poor Mark.
No, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. No, it's just that some people in the group, have their Instagram feeds and they show off their stuff. Norrin and Ian looking at each other, and some of the more character collectors like Pankit has got a great Instagram feed.
It's amazing work, man. Did you see that? He basically found all the boxes that ever featured Cap, and he put him in a whole grid photo. And every box that's ever had Cap on it, he figured them out. Just beautiful, man. Just a smart guy.
And he's done the same with Rappers, and I believe he's done the same with Cell Sheets.
He did Cell Sheets. That's the one I saw too. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Which is extreme. So, Mark, obviously, Marvel Masterpieces 2020. What else is going to be in your deliveries?
Probably, I'm going to take a look at anime too, because it's new. So I'm going to see how that goes. I'm excited for some of the sketches on anime as well, just to get different takes on the characters. And that's kind of all I have on my mind right now.
Yeah. Fair enough. Is there a particular artist that you kind of generally steer towards? I know some people go in deep for certain artists. Pankit, for example, we've already mentioned. Very much a fan of Bianchi's work, and Hader Velasquez, I think his name is.
Oh, that's right. He has a good collection of that.
Yeah, it's a really good collection of that. Yeah. Is there anyone that kind of you lean to slightly more?
For 2016, I really like the Reggie Vicente cards. They're like it's just a unique style. So usually for 16, I would probably lean towards him as an artist that I collected a lot of. But most of the time, I'm just if it looks nice, then I'm not just I'll just get it if I like the art.
Yeah, you're kind of more of a journeyman in that
Yeah,
way.
I think so.
Yeah, which is, well, it's one thing I always, we always sort of say there's no right or wrong way to do it. Everyone does things in their own way. Some people go for, just certain things, and some people go for almost everything. Mm-hmm, yep. And there's a very fine line. There's a very lots of shades of grey in between.
I mean, just to put it in perspective, right? We've heard Mark's numbers in terms of how many sketches he has, and Ian is way more than me too. I only have under maybe 75, 60 sketches.
Wow.
And that's it.
And you trimmed that as well, didn't you?
Like a beast. I only have I have under 25 Silver Surfers, maybe. I only have 25 Silver Surfer sketches.
That's right. I always equate your collection to one of those little Japanese bushes that you just trim with a pair of
bonsai.
Yeah,
one of those. You know what? I'm taking that. Thank you, good sir. That makes sense to me. Yeah,
that's quite all right.
But yeah.
If you were to equate your collection to a tree or a type of agricultural foliage, Mark, what would you? Where would you go?
Is what I would say.
I'll probably I don't know, redwood. I don't know.
It sounds to me like it's a cultivated biodome, like one of those biodiversity domes, with incredibly rare species within, but not allowed to go too far out of control. I can't believe that's probably one of the most random things we've ever asked anyone on this podcast.
I love that. No, that should be a normal thing for us to ask.
Should I add that to the pop quiz that we do when we get some people?
You know what? We should just put that on a thread today, and that be topic of the Sunday chat.
Yeah. Oh my goodness me! Have I got? Obviously, we can't see you today, Mark, because not everyone does video. But can I show you something that will wet your whistle?
Sure.
Can I show you something? Let me just show you something from my
Do you want me to stop recording? Oh no,
no. I'm just kind of thinking. I just feel the need to show and tell because I want to. And one of the it's the first piece on my top, and I've never shown Norrin this, so this is a rather interesting thing. Masterpieces 2007, which gets a lot of love from me, and I will bite anyone who says otherwise. I love it. I love the 2007 set. I love the 2008 sets, even though they're flawed. I still love them. One of the most interesting things that I've found is for 2000 when Upper Deck started doing their gallery stuff, kind of in the early noughties. Yeah, they had a lot of work that then got used. The artwork was then used in 2007, and so I found an advert. This is an actual sell sheet. Someone's crackling there. Who's crackling? Is that me? Is that you? Who's crackling?
I hope it's not me.
No. Anyway, this is a sell sheet for 2005 Upper Deck Entertainment limited edition print.
Oh,
Adam
wow.
Hughes Black Cat.
Adam Hughes, yeah.
Yeah. And that is the artwork that they then used in the 2007 Masterpieces set.
Wow.
And that's an actual properly printed sell sheet for effectively what was Upper Deck Gallery back in 2005.
Wow.
So I'll put this on the tasting notes for those who can't see it, but I thought I'd flag that as there's so many different pockets where you think, oh, surely there's nothing around there. I don't know what the earlier incarnation of the Upper Deck Gallery put out, but given that your character wasn't banned then, Norrin, you might.
My
your
character
was still around. Yeah.
Actually, I think for that set, I actually love that art on that set. It's one of my favorites, to be honest. Nice. It's it's by I always mess up his name, ADV or something like that. I'll find out now. But I actually think that set has some of the best gold foiling on the borders that I've ever seen.
Incredible.
Like it's really nice. I'm in my pajamas, so you guys are about to see that, but I don't care.
That's quite all right.
I'm opening my box.
Mark's also in your pajamas, which is why he doesn't want to be shown on video.
Mark can be tortured and scarred for life with my pajamas. He'll be fine with that. But yeah, this having that gold foil,
yes,
I just think it's some of the best gold foiling in cards I've ever seen.
So we'll put this on the tasting notes, but Norrin is holding us up to show a PSA graded gold border parallel from Masterpieces 2007. I have the same card here, but ungraded, ready to go in. Which is beautiful.
I mean, that gold foiling.
Oh, it's Adi Granov. Yeah.
That's it.
Adi Granov, yeah. It's a beautiful card. Kevin number 2, I have to thank for this. These are the last cards I needed to complete Masterpieces 2007.
They just look good, man. One's foil, one's gold foil, and one's regular. I just like that.
Just look at that Captain America. Just look at that Captain America. It's just stunning.
It looks good, man. I know it's not like original art drawn for the set, but damn, it still looks good.
So you inspired me, Norrin, with that PSA, and we'll put a picture of that on the tasting notes. So send me. I know you've got a picture of that because you put it on your Instagram feed. So wing that over to me once we finish. But seeing that PSA graded, I've made a rather foolish decision that I'm going to open to you right now.
Oh boy, here we go, Mark. You ready?
I've decided, because Masterpieces 2007 is kind of my baby, if you like. It's the one I kind of go to because it got me back into the hobby. I've decided to go for a PSA graded full 1-90 set of gold border.
Whoa, wow.
Which would take me a significant amount of time to acquire, I'm sure. But I've decided to do it.
How many do you have? Are you starting from like...
Yeah, I don't have any PSA graded from that set at all. So, yeah, and I'm sure Amanda will be very, very helpful in this.
She's going to be so happy that you're doing that.
But yeah, it will be graded. I wouldn't want to have it different companies.
No, you try to do it one if you can.
I'd have to have it all the same. How one would store such a setup, I don't know. But I'd probably get a similar case like yours for those.
Yeah, get a Pelican bonsai tree case. It works perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Mark, have you got any graded cards? Do you do graded cards at all?
No, I haven't really done that. Some people do. I just like to get the raw ones.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, we have there's a bunch of people in the group, but I know someone that Mark's know and I know, I won't mention names, but that guy has a graded collection of modern stuff. I'm just so impressed with all 9.5 BGS, 10s, PSA, just crazy type of stuff. Wow. People are doing this in the background. It might not look like it on the surface, but people are very much getting these things graded when they can. It's pretty cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's going that way. Certainly. This has been fun. We should probably think about wrapping this up.
Yeah, I had a great time, guys. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Thanks for getting up early.
Thanks for coming on, man. I know you and me are on the East Coast, so I know this is hell early for you, but we really appreciate you, man.
For sure. It was so much fun.
Mark, so I guess normally at this point I ask where people can find you on the internet, but because you don't really do that, I'll just say thank you for being such a positive contributor to the groups and for the community, and just keep doing what you're doing and being you, and just being a kind and wonderful collector. So thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. Yeah. And at that point, I guess all I have to say, Mark, is take us out.
Enjoy collecting.
Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. Visuals and tasting notes for each episode can be found on our Facebook page. You can subscribe and leave us a voicemail via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Please take a second to subscribe, like, and review our show wherever you get your podcasts. Our podcast can be found by Googling @the MCC Pod, which will also find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Our Facebook community is at MCCW, Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide, and MMC, Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. The number you dialed has been changed, disconnected, or is no longer in service.